Today we have Mr. Sandipan Das with us as our speaker. Let me give a very brief introduction about Mr. Sandipan. He is currently employed as a scientist in the Indian Space Research Organization in Trivandrum in the materials division catering to the requirements of various launch vehicles. He graduated from the Metallurgical and Materials Science Department of IIT Durgapur in the year 2015 as a gold medalist, and then he went on to pursue his master's degree in Metallurgical Engineering from IIT Bombay in the year 2017. In 2014, he served as a research associate in the European Organization of Nuclear Research, also known as CERN. Sir, we are delighted and honored to have you with us today. So, can you tell us something about your life at NIT Durgapur, and if there is any abiding memories which you would like to share?
Well, first of all, good evening, everyone. I am Sandipan. As Abhishek has briefly mentioned about myself, yes, I graduated in 2015, and it was a very good experience at NIT. I was a day scholar for the 4 years that I had stayed there. It was because for the first time that day scholar thing had begun. So we were not given any amount of hostel things, and neither any deductions were there. But yeah, it was a good experience rather. I missed out on a few opportunities, but yes, metallurgy for me had been a dream because my father used to work in a steel factory in Durgapur. So, foundry, steel, and all those. So, in genuine, I had to choose that because my father had asked me and had seen my interest. And the abiding memories, yes, I mean, it was good to be there. 2, 3, I would like to point out, yeah, because generally from the metallurgical engineering point of view, people in NIT Durgapur have apprehensions with respect to mechanical or CSE. But yes, when it was in our convocation day, so as I stood on the podium, the kind of reception that I got, not only from my departmental mates, but from the entire audience, that was something I had never heard of. And yes, apart from that, somehow good things kept happening. Also, the CERN thing that happened in my life, because I think before me, only in 2012, one more person from metallurgical engineering had gone to CERN at that point of view. So that was something path-breaking in terms of from the departmental point of view, because it showed a way that okay, these 2 people have done it, and that can be done from our future generations also. And I think in 2020, some person had also cracked it, 2021 maybe. So after from 2014, it took 7 years after that. So that was from my personal point of view. That were 2 very good memories that I have with respect to NIT Durgapur. And yes, it helped me. It laid a foundation for me to succeed well in life after that. Yes.
How did your earlier career choices and interests lead you to where you are now? And what were the various hardships that you faced and how did you overcome them?
From a very beginning, I would like to tell regarding the NIT phase first, because in NIT, I had chosen metallurgy. With respect to the other 2 students who got into Meta, but I chose Meta because I knew my weakness. I was fond of chemistry. It was okay for me. Physics, difficulty tha, to be very frank. So it was easier for my part. And having my father as in the background working in the steel factory, so that helped me. So, but yes, 11, 12, that's very difficult for me. I will not shy away from that fact, but my rank was something around 2541 in IEEE. That used to happen in those days. So the state rank turned out to be 561. So, but yes, that helped me. But in NIT, it was more of a smooth ride for me, frankly speaking. It was a very smooth ride because I started from 8.36 by the way, and ended up in 9.45 finally. So I can tell that it was a very smooth route. And at that point of time, our academic persons who were there, who were the faculty members, they were holding some good posts in the entire institute regarding the placement or academic team. That helped actually. Whatever we used to do, that helped in our progress. So yes, it was a very good smooth ride for me. But yes, the difficulties were in class 11 and 12. Then again it came in 2016 when I went to IIT Bombay. So because the curriculum, what is in NIT and what it's in IIT, it is different. The way it is managed, it is fantastically different. And the placement. So placements happen in IIT say for that 1 month period, but in NIT it happens all the year round, the fourth year round. So you have a chance to make some mistakes. You can correct it, but that chance you don't have in IIT. So from that I learned, and also then after IIT also I had a good amount of struggle for next 50 days when I went to the job that I got from IIT. So that toughened me. But yes, so that one and a half year not being in the glory of my life in IIT, it toughened me, and that helped me later and down the line to crack ISRO. So yes.
Like the next question is, as you have studied in both NIT as well as IIT, so how do you distinguish the academics and research prospects of these two institutes?
I have noted down these 3 points actually. I would like to tell a little bit in an elaborate manner. So, first thing, the academics, let me tell you. In academics, it's basically in NIT, way back 2011 to 2015, when I was a student out there, people used to teach on the class board, on the blackboard. They used to come, teach, dictate notes. But when we moved to in the IIT, it was vastly different. It's actually people used to teach in PowerPoint. That human interaction, I felt it was very less. So that impacted me to a larger extent. Because we were of the students ना कि जो लोगों के साथ interact करते हैं, टीचर को कुछ doubt पूछता है, वहाँ पे ना IIT में क्या होता था कि people used to like sometimes the technical assistants, the technical they used to teach the students of the first year, second year M.Tech degree in the first year. In that way used to happen, or the PhD student used to happen. So that kind of a rapport, there is a lot of difficulty in building a rapport. Secondly, PORs, position of responsibility, that always lacks in NIT. If a person has to grow in a wholesome development, if he is supposed to have that wholesome development, he must experience an IIT. At least for 1.5 years in his life. Absolutely, that thing is missing in the most of the NITs. I don't know now what it is existing, but in IIT you get a brand view of like, see, some 50-60 students are managing the placements of 1,200 students, starting from B.Tech, M.Tech and PhD in a 1 month period. That's a staggering thing. That thing never used to be there in NIT, because it used to be always in a very close confinement of the professors out there. So the academics and the PORs is there. Research, see, we all know the kind of facilities that IITs have. I don't know whether NITs have come to that extent. In fact, till now we have collaboration in IIT, collaboration with IITs. It's not IITs don't collaborate with NITs. It's the other way around. So that's a big gap that's left to fill up, because IITs have huge, big, costly instruments, like plenty. They have abundance of it. But in NITs, that's lacking. I mean, to be frankly speaking, it is lacking. And the placements, I felt from my personal point of view, you have a margin. You have margin to make errors in NIT, because the entire year is used for the placement. अगर किसी का जुलाई में placement नहीं हुआ, तो he can always try for the August वाला placement. September में क्या company जा रहा है, ठीक है? But in IIT it's the other way around. Each day from number 1 to 6, how it used to be pre-COVID time. People used to go there, suited, booted, and they are seeing like there is a big build. Say 8 times placements हो रही है वहाँ पे. झुंड में बढ़ रही है job. But sometimes the M.Tech people used to have big problem, because they are having a go with the B.Techs of IIT. They were to do that because coding is a big thing. So if I am a meta student, we do not have access to that amount of coding at that point of time. So हमें हमेशा मार खाना पड़ता था. And the core companies, frankly speaking, those are more in NIT rather than in IIT. Non-cores are more in IIT. So in that way, these are the few differences that I felt, that I have witnessed to a larger extent.
How did you manage your college studies along with the research work that you were doing? Because getting a gold medal is not a cup of tea, and to manage your work, studies, and all together, was it difficult, or how was the ride of managing both of them?
To be honest, research was never an option for me at that point of view. From a very big time, like when I started in the third year, it was like I wanted to learn, and research came slowly into it. So because वहाँ पे ना मेटलर्जी labs होते, वहाँ पे जाके, so at that point of time, I don't know what is existing right now. That point of time, we used to have very good teachers who used to show us with their hands. Like people used to polish the instruments, like the specimens, like this. What will happen if you polish it like this? What is the different? What is the difference you will observe at that point of time? So that small tricky things that just helped me in understanding and knowing the tidbits of those things. So that firstly helped me, and also, but secondly, one thing I always wanted to do an M.Tech. Because I had lost the chance to go to IIT, that was the only scope. कि गेट में अच्छा करो, और गेट में अच्छा करने के सीपीआई चलाना का कॉन्फिडेंस है कि गेट के एग्जाम में मैं जब दूंगा तो एक कॉन्फिडेंस से जाऊंगा वहां. तो उसके लिए सीपीआई अच्छा करना, और सीपीआई अच्छा करने के लिए हर सेमेस्टर में यू हैव टू परफॉर्म वेल, और हर सेमेस्टर में यू हैव टू डू इन द वेल इन योर tests also and in the exams also. So it automatically came like to have, and also little bit time, like after fourth year, after fourth semester, I went for an internship at IIT Kanpur. So that exposure that helped me how people think in a research background in the science, in the field of material science. Then in the fifth semester end में, I did an internship at Alloy Steel Plant Durgapur there. I don't know whether it's working right now or not. So that point of time I did there. Sixth के बाद ये हुआ certain something I feel मैंने मेहनत की थी, but God was very gracious to me. So things kept falling in my lap, and I grabbed those opportunities to some extent. So गांधी जी ने कहा है कि सर झुकाओ और काम करो, तो वही मैंने किया, बस इतना ही. I don't think I've not done anything great there. I used to perform well. That's it. I think my opinion is there were very good students better than me in my department itself. They had done far more better, but maybe I was lucky enough. That's why that gold medal just came into my lap.
Okay, the next question is direct, like for the newcomers, like especially the newcomers who have joined college. Most of them aren't sure whether they should go for research or job. So as you are having a great experience in research world, can you give us an idea about what it is, like the actual work that we have to do in future if we go for research, and what are the pros and cons of it?
Okay, now this is tough to make people understand, because when we are joining a college at a tender age of 18 or 19 years, we do not know what we are estimating, because while we are studying those courses in the span of 3 to 4 years, sometimes I have seen few of my friends have done and gone for a corporate job. They have left it, and then they have turned to PhD or a master's at IIT Madras. On the contrary, people who have gone for masters also, they have left it and they have got a very good job. So it is difficult, but yes, people need to talk. People need to talk to their seniors. We have to have a very good alumni base to just understand that what is the field, or what is the world or the ecosystem of our department is. Where are our alumni placed? That will get them a sound understanding that okay, this person is placed in applied materials, this person is placed in material science, this person is placed in Tata Steel, this person is placed in Larsen and Toubro. So why they have got there? So what was their thinking? Why they wanted to do? But for people who have joined the young age, it is very difficult to say, because research will come inherently, and corporate job requirement is like smooth communication skills, team building skills, that also will come. So people need to understand that as they will grow, they will mature, they will understand that. And the best way to understand that is doing some PORs. in the college. That is the first thing. If they do that, they will know regarding their skills, what they want to do. And yes, they have to go beyond their shell to talk to people. And I think now ragging does not also exist. At our point of time, ragging used to little bit of exist. थोड़ा सा communication चलता था. So people used to have an understanding कि senior से बात कर रहे, अभी पता नहीं, मुझे नहीं पता अभी क्या हो रहा है. So that helped actually in our thing. So because I remember how I went into research is मेरे जो just exact senior जो थे, तो वहाँ पे 2-3 लोगों से मैं बात करता था. One of them right now is placed in Petrofac. It is in Middle East actually. So I had a great passion to go for Petrofac based on the amount of money. कितना पैसा दे छापते हैं वो लोग वहाँ पे जाके. But later I understood that my skills are not there. My skills basically is doing some research-oriented jobs, living close to my parents, fulfilling their wills. So you have to understand that. So all these circumstances we have to jot down and have a smaller Venn diagram to understand, okay, this is the small sphere that is suiting to my attributes and personality traits. That's what I want to do in future. So वहाँ से वो decide होगा.
Okay, my next question is, how is your experience with ISRO? Can you explain how to get a chance to work with ISRO? And can you give us some insights about your work in ISRO?
Sure. So let me tell you how it happened. So in 2016, I was doing a EUR for the college at IIT Bombay, one of the big seminars that is being done for the corrosion engineering, the specialization that I was there. So I met one person. So I was there arranging one talk. So I was just holding the mic and I just introduced and I read a piece of paper that this is this person from IIT Durgapur. My eyes just beamed. And written below was the Indian Space Research Organization. Never I had known at that point of time that ISRO recruits metallurgists, the material science people. Till 2016 January, I had no idea. But I had a conversation with him. That was the same person 1.5 years later, when I was in trouble. He told me that this is the advertisement form that has come out. You please fill it up. He himself emailed to me. So that is the networking goes around. So once you meet with a person, that helps you. So I filled up that form. 2018 April I went there. I just went like, ठीक है, कभी देखने का मौका नहीं मिलेगा, जाते हैं, थोड़ा देख के आते हैं, 2-3 लोगों से मिलेंगे, बीच घूम के आएंगे केरला में, वापस आ जाते हैं. क्या मिलना तो नहीं वाला. There are only two posts actually. So I went there. Luckily it happened. And my job experience is that we basically develop and supply materials for all the launch vehicle programs that are going on. Recently, say PSLV, GSLV, Gaganyaan, GSLV Mark III, whatever these big launch vehicles are there. So I am into some small part of that, some launch vehicle. I deal with some specific materials that caters to a certain section of that launch vehicle. We supply material, but supplying material is also attributed to testing also. So जो supply कर रहे हैं वो सही quality में है कि नहीं, because some materials have been realized way back in 2004 and 2. So आज के दिन में with respect to current standards, is it okay to use them in a launch vehicle or not? So that also we have to see. And apart from that, I am also working in the labs. I look after the chemical analysis part and the metrography part. जैसे कि आप मान लो कि ये एक चाबी है, चाबी के अंदर इसमें क्या फेज है वगैरह है, इसको और कैसे बनाया जा सकता है, ये सब थोड़ा देखते हैं. In layman, I am saying that. And yes, how to go into ISRO? It is basic. So ISRO basically majorly recruits mechanicals, electronics. There is an exam called ICRB. That is the ISRO Central Recruitment Board. That happens every 1.5 years. Last advertisement that came out, it had around say 135 vehicles in mechanical and 128 in electronics, 96 in computer science, ऐसा कुछ था. So that happens. So they have a written first, then they are called for interviews and they are getting selected. But for the smaller part, like those like आपको फिर वहाँ से to the pool that is created, then they are distributed to all the centers out there. So there is a center in Ahmedabad, center in Thiruvananthapuram, center in Bangalore. So all this way it is distributed. but with respect to but there is also one where the seats are very less. So that's a center specific recruitment. So that happens on the basis of your M.Tech or a PhD recruitment. So the minimum criteria is that you have to complete an M.Tech, then only you can apply, or you have to complete a PhD, then only you can apply. But for that ICRB thing, Bachelor, B.Tech completion, it's okay. Then the interview and the screening will happen. So this is in short how the ISRO recruitment works.
So my next question will be like, since you went abroad for your summer research intern to CERN, didn't you ever think of doing research abroad, like in organizations like CERN itself or NASA? Because usually what happens is when people go outside India, they tend to be like have an affinity towards foreign more than India. Like, so didn't you have a dream of doing research abroad, or like you always wanted to stay in India?
My friend, that when I went to CERN in 2014, the kind of atmosphere, the kind of work culture, the kind of facilities that they have, it really inspired me. But on a personal note, I knew my limitations more than my strengths. So I was also counting on the thing that what if after completing the master's or a PhD, I might not get a job. So, and also I'm a single child at that close to my, so it was take care of my parents. Much conscientious decision that I took at that point of view, that boss जो करना है यहाँ पे रह के करना है. I don't have anyone, तो अभी कुछ हो गया इनको तो फिर कौन संभालेगा इनको. So that was one thing, and I think that Gates rank helped me to go into IIT Bombay. But yes, after the placement at IIT, I really gave it a thought. But then you need to have a lot of networking to work out there. Then I also tried for some like GRE and all those. But later something happened and then I'm here. But yeah, I did give a thought. But something, because luck was so good on me for some specific period of time, I stayed in India. But yes, I did feel that going to NASA I never had thought. But yes, doing a master's abroad and PhD abroad, I did give a thought. But yes, this thing like being a single child, I just took a backseat and जो करना है इंडिया में करना है. So that was one of those motives later.
In ISRO, the materials, since you are in the chemical department, so how are the materials that ISRO uses in its spacecraft selected? Like, for example, your team comes up with a new kind of material. So first of all, how is it tested? The environment in space, because like achieving this environment that is there in space on Earth, it's a altogether different story and a difficult story, and it's very difficult from what we have done in our regular labs. So what are the kinds of simulations and stress testing and in the environment, space environment, that are done on the materials to ensure that they will perform as desired when they go for production use?
Okay, so this will be a little bit of elaboration, but I will try to simplify it to a more than extent. Yeah, okay. So there are two parts to a launch vehicle. Okay, to launch vehicle. Now put the spacecraft into orbit. So the spacecraft is, say, that Chandrayaan, that rover and all those, that thing. And the launch vehicle is basically are comprising of 3-4 stages. So there is a difference between the materials that are used in spacecraft and that are used in the launch vehicle. Okay. Now launch vehicles have different parts. So some launch vehicles में जो कुछ parts होते हैं. So some of the parts are like our Vikas engine that is being used. That is for the lower atmosphere. And for upper atmosphere, we have the cryogenic stage. Cryogenic stage means basically a set of materials that will be having an experience of around temperatures close to our 77 Kelvin or 20 Kelvin temperature. 20 Kelvin, I'm saying. Okay, liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen. So when we are selecting materials, first of all, we have a reference. We do the literature survey also based on our end use. हमको क्या चाहिए बहुत. आप मेरे को अगर high temperature, suppose lot of hot gases come out. Okay, so if hot gases are coming out, so I need a material that is resistant to heat. So that's a heat resistant material. So now we can have a literature survey of those heat resistant materials comprising two which can comply, or which we can rather say resist that temperature range. It should not melt at a temperature. Okay? Now 2000 degrees Celsius are there, somewhere around 700 degrees Celsius are there. That depends. So when we list materials, now we have to see whether we can fabricate it in house. बाहर से import करते हो उस चीज को, तो फिर उसका problems होते हैं. फिर आप उसको realize करने में आपका cost बहुत ज्यादा आ जाता है. ठीक है, और वो आपके बाहर से जो देती है वो आपको कुछ सेटअप टेस्ट करके देती है. बट आप जब इन हाउस करते हो ना, आप इंडस्ट्री को बोल सकते हो कि ये टेस्ट करने के लिए. तो मैं छोटा स्केल में बोल रहा हूँ कि कोई अगर नया मेटल हमें, इफ वी आर डेवलपिंग न्यू मेटल, सो वी जॉट डाउन द मेटल. ओके, दिस इज दैट टेम्परेचर रेंज, दिस इज दैट प्रेशर रेंज, this is the list of other parameters that it is inducted into, that it will experience. Now we will realize the material in a small melt pilot bolte hain. So we'll realize that, then we'll test it, we'll cast it, we'll forge chota set of melt 50 kg ya 100 kg mein. So we'll do all the tests, we'll do all the pressure tests, and we'll see whether that component will be able to meet our end user. If it is meeting the end, ऐसे ग्रुप्स बनाए जाते हैं कि ये देखेंगे. जो सीनियर्स होते हैं इन द ISRO, तो वो देखते हैं, they analyze the result, the tensile testing they see, what are the microstructure, what are the changes that they observe in case of the materials, what they are experiencing at that point of time. So based on that, once it is approved, then we go for the higher product. Then उसका फिर ना वो डायरेक्टली साइट में इंडक्ट नहीं होता है. उसका फिर एक डेमो टेस्ट करते हैं, क्वालिफिकेशन टेस्ट करते हैं, फिर उसका एक हॉट टेस्ट बोलते हैं, उसको करते हैं. फिर once it is successful in that, then we realize it and we go for the flight assembly. Finally उसको flight assembly में हम उसको डालते हैं. That's in a very layman I said. There are a lot of tests, so it does not like आज कुछ किसी ने बोला तो ऐसा नहीं होता है. It takes time, 5-6 years time लेता है. The things that you are thinking कि you are expecting the properties to meet, sometimes it might not meet also. So again you have to retrace the back. You have to choose for an alternate material at that point of time, and you have to also to see why it did not meet those required properties which I want at that point of time. Okay, whether it's a mechanical property or it's a pressure test, why it did not meet. So all reconfiguration has to be done once the chosen metal is not able to meet. Okay? That's a tricky thing.
In the experiments that your people are involved in, so despite the impeccable determination and focus and the precision that you put forward towards your experiments, how do you fathom the fact that there could be a possibility of a failure? During propulsion, there are 100 kinds of things which could lead to a loss of years of hard work, money, time, and expertise. So how do you motivate yourself and keep it going for this thought?
Okay, I'll tell you one specific example what it happened. I think I'm tracing way back to 2010, 25th of December, GSLV Mark II. Okay, and I think the mission was F6. I think थोड़ा सा उड़ा फ्लाइट, देन ऐसे धुआं निकलने लगा क्रायोजेनिक स्टेज से, पूरा धुआं निकल गया. से अराउंड विकास इंजन के लॉन्च के बाद एक धुआं निकल गया अबाउट 2 minutes आफ्टर लॉन्च. I may be wrong, like a big failure occurred at that point. ठीक है, why it failed? It failed due to a defect in a fastener बोलते एक छोटा सा नट बोल्ट.
ओके,
अब नट बोल्ट हम वैसे बनाते नहीं है. ठीक है, वी डोंट मेक नट बोल्ट, वी बाय इन बल्क. उसमें हम टेस्टिंग करते 10-20 को उठा के. आप नट बोल्ट टेस्ट नहीं कर सकते वैसे. तो एक छोटा सा फेलियर, एक छोटा सा नट बोल्ट आपको पूरा मिशन को फेल करा. थोड़ा सा तो लक का भी हाथ होता है, बट यस वी ट्राई टू. सो व्हाट वी डू इज बेसिकली देयर आर डिफरेंट स्टेप्स. QC, the quality control team, along with the sales team. Then the QA also, the audit team is also there, the quality assurance team is also there. AAA tests, if this has been done on the metal or not. So when the material is again fabricated to some extent, then whether the materials, the fabricated component has been fitted correctly or not, or whether it has been correctly tested or not. There's a lot of procedures. But yes, अभी recently एक failure हुआ है ना ISRO का, I think August 12th को एक failure हुआ है. The research is we are yet to the reason ताकि the same thing is not repeated again, because there's lots of money ना, public money भी काफी loss में जाता है. धीरे धीरे ज्यादा failure होंगे तो फिर भरोसा उठता है ना फिर लोगों का, फिर तो होते हैं. So we felt really bad that it happened, but yes, we are definitely sure that we'll bounce back with a great amount of power again.
Okay, since we are talking about technical things, I have one more technical question. Can you explain about the field of cryogenics in detail, in which we are currently working?
I am not working in the field of cryogenics. Rather, I am trying in a field of materials which caters to the cryogenic systems. Okay, so cryogenics is basically the science of materials that the material experiences below 120 Kelvin temperature. Okay, so उससे नीचे का temperature में जो experience होता है, those is the field of cryogenics. What happens is, okay, we all know the what happened in Titanic, right? It got impacted with an ice. Why it got broken? It's because the toughness was not there at that point of time. So when the impact happened, the steel got brittle. And same is the thing. Why the steel got brittle? Because the temperatures in the ocean was in the minus, say 4 degrees, 3 degrees. It was very close to 0 degrees. So, and it is less than 0 degree, 120 Kelvin. So it's basically we are dealing with materials and trying to realize it, and we are trying to qualify materials which are having an experience of temperatures less than 120 Kelvin in that thing. So normally using a metal at room temperature, it will have sufficient strength. Okay, it will have a certain amount of toughness also, and toughness is the major thing that is required in our aerospace. Toughness is basically strength into ductility. What happens when the material goes to a cryogenic temperature is, it has a lot of strength, but it loses its ductility. So already what happens is the toughness is impaired. So we try to choose materials from a field so that it has certain specific amount of toughness, so that the ductile to brittle transition is avoided. Else all our metals will fail at that temperature. That is in short, that is the field of cryogenics, what we deal in.
So my next question would be, how did you keep yourself motivated to go for higher studies when most of the students eventually choose to pursue some job after graduation? Was it that like the gold medal which motivated you?
No. My first thing was when I came to NIT, a few of in my 12th class then. So they had gone to at IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay. So I used to have that fascination always to go for IIT. I just wanted to experience that IIT culture, and that was the long-term goal. But slowly, I felt like okay to go into IIT. Then it happened when I was in 3rd year or 4th year. One of my seniors actually got into IIT Bombay. My just immediate thinking. So that actually opened the gateways for me. Okay, if that person can do, I can also do. So that actually motivated me a little bit further. But yes, over the period of time, I just wanted to just do best whatever I'm studying, because this is that one thing of 4 years which is going to earn me rice, bread, food. So, and because I knew at a very young age that, and I've seen my dad working very hard, and like every other dad, they keep their saving for their child and all. So I just wanted to have a good job at that point of time. Again, good job मिलेगा कैसे? अच्छा pointer से, अच्छा पढ़ाई से. So that point of time, that's the only thing that I took. And also the other thing that actually was the blessing in disguise was we're all a few, like 16, 17 people at that in that year were all coming from home. So we had a home food to serve with. उसके साथ मम्मी का थोड़ा सा मतलब क्या बोले थोड़ा सा मम्मी लोग थोड़ा बोलती ही है पीछे पढ़ना and that helped actually. पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा ना तो वही थोड़ा पढ़ते पढ़ते निकल गया यार नहीं और कुछ नहीं था.
Like since you have been working in ISRO, so can you tell us about the best project that you have worked on and your experience on it, some project which you have got memories about it and you'll never forget. How was your experience?
No, I'm still working on a project which is not yet finished. I'm actually working in Gaganyaan project right now. So recently, I think Friday only, the document got released where we prepared the specifications for realizing it. It's a document basically for Gaganyaan. This is the material and these are the quality standards that got. So it was around 8 to 9 materials were prepared from my side that got released and it was written prepared by Sandipan. That is one very fond memory that I recently have currently. Yeah, that is one of the closest things because I just have been working for 3.5 years and the Gaganyaan project is yet to come. That is the most, the exotic dream of our research organization to place a person on the space. If I have been able to contribute to that extent a little bit, the book mein naam chhapa hai mera in the metal section. I am very happy that I could contribute to that extent, and hopefully in some time some more things will come out. That is the very fond memory that I have. I was just waiting for the last 1.5 years to release over that book.
So there's a question from the CS and MME students. What are the steps should I follow to be a scientist at ISRO? Is it branch specific or is there some set procedure? What is the way out?
Okay, as I told in that elaborate answer, first thing is so ISRO does not recruit based on your GATE score. Okay, so they basically want you to have a CCI of more than 6.5. I think with respect to last advertising, 6.5 or 7.5. I am exactly not sure. It's more than if a person has more than 7, it's okay. That's what I understand. So once they cross the Bachelor, either they can apply for it when the next advertisement comes. They can apply for it, and so there will be a test. So in the interview, so first there will be a written test, and the written test questions will be basically similar to GATE also. So that's what I have heard from my other friends who have applied to that ICRB campaign. That is a recruitment portal. So all the bachelors they can apply that. So they can, if they are clearing that, then they will go to they'll go for the personal interview. In the personal interview, they will be asked regarding what is their favorite subject. But let me tell you one point: the ISRO interview is not that hard as the Bachelor. Okay, so and the points both the matter. So the marks that you earned in your written test plus the marks that you earned in the interview both matter actually. Okay, so that is one way out how the person can. So that is for electrical and electronics to some extent, and mechanical also, and computer science also. That's the 3 branches that they take. But for the other branches, say meta, say chemical, say civil, they have a center specific, say like aerospace, they have a center specific recruitment. Center specific recruitment is basically there is one center. They need some people for ready research. They will actually say 3 number of maximum. That's like. So then they will be asked to come for the interview. That will be a direct interview. In our case, that has happened. No written test in that case. So if the person has completed an M.Tech prior to the floating of that form, so he can directly enter. They directly apply there. They can come there. They can pass the written test and they can just join ISRO. That's it. So these are 2 ways how to reach ISRO.
So people like Elon Musk are trying to put the general public into Mars and space, not only the astronauts. Does ISRO have some similar plans? And what is your personal opinion about this? Is it something which is practically realizable or it is just a gimmick?
Okay. let me tell in two rather aspects. Being from a organization point of view. Currently, there is no such ambitious plan to put people in Mars. We are trying to prove a technology that we are capable of, that we can put a person in space. That's sort of long-term plan. Okay, that's the long-term objective. So ISRO has always been in doing something that is helpful for the nation. So during the times of when it was initiated, when Vikram Sarabhai was there, that was the first thing, that we have to serve the humanity, the Indian people, through remote sensing, telecommunications. These are the two main things basically. Therefore, okay, these are the three basic things. So that are a long-term objective. In this way, if we are able to grab some eyeballs by demonstrating some exotic technology, then that's well and good for us. Okay, that is because the other thing, ISRO is basically a central government organization. Okay, so that is all the taxpayers' money it is involved in. So it will take some time for ISRO. There is no immediate plan as for placing persons on Mars. Now, from a common man perspective point of view, as a space enthusiast, yes, it's a fantastic thing that Elon is that Mr. Musk is doing right now. I'm thinking that how can a person just throw an entire car orbiting the Tesla roadster, if you've heard, it is orbiting in the space. So if that person can do that thing, it's definitely possible he will do something in the near future. So it's possible. I mean, he has some like supreme brain intelligence is like fantastic for him. It's there. That people will be going to Mars to colonize it and starting at least something so that it might become habitable in the upcoming future.
Okay, my next question is, like, being in the research field and having witnessed the research scenario in an internationally acclaimed institution such as CERN, what are your thoughts on the present state of research in the country? What changes would you like to see in the upcoming years?
Well, CERN I visited way back in 2014. So at that point of time, what I witnessed was, okay, let me say, who are the people doing the research? Frankly speaking, who are the people? There will be 0.1 to 1% people who are involved in research in India, let alone, and those are PhD students. And how are those PhD students coming? Very few people who have the personal interest. The rest of the people, basically, they might have not got a good placement. They might not have got a good M.Tech placement, or like some limitations were there in the job. That's why they are shifted to research. That is the fact. You must understand that is in India. While in other things, because that's also one reason. Because if you see the companies that are recruiting in India, they are more inclined towards recruiting fresh graduates, 22, 23-year-old. Because 27-year people, if they are trying to recruit now, they will start asking questions. अब क्या है, ऑर्गेनाइज में आप जब जाते हो ना, आपको ये नहीं चाहिए मेरे को 2-3 सवाल पूछ ले. तो अब जो भी पीएचडी करके आएगा ना, तो दैट पर्सन विल हैव समथिंग इन माइंड. ओके, ये क्यों हो रहा है, ये क्यों हो रहा है, ऐसा तो नहीं देगा. देयर आर बैकग्राउंड एक्सपीरियंस. व्हाइल फॉर द फ्रेशर दैट थिंग इज लैकिंग. So that is one thing what Indian people, Indian industries try to embark on. They try to recruit fresh graduates in India rather than PhD. That is why PhD is lacking in India. Because if suddenly this thing happens that the minimum criteria to get employed in the job is PhD, you will see millions flooding into PhD. That is one thing. Second thing, in CERN or in other universities, what is happening? People, they themselves have culminated that thing कि they have abundance of money. ठीक है, हमारे यहाँ पे जैसे they don't have so we get into this research field, they have a passion, not out of compulsion. So and companies out there are seeking people who have minimum PhD degree or a master's degree. That is the big difference that I wanted to just share. That's the main staggering line of difference. Why people here, the research output is also that way very less, because मुझे अगर आप बोलो कि मेरे को ये काम नहीं करना बट आउट ऑफ कंफर्ट मेरे को 5 साल काटने तब इसलिए मेरे को काम करना है, तो दैट द आउटपुट विल बी डिफरेंट रादर देन इफ मी बीइंग लाइक अरे यार इससे मेरे देश को कुछ फायदा होगा, मेरे को इसके बाद अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी एक अलग से. So that's a major difference. I have one friend, I think just completed PhD. He graduated from, he was from Jadavpur University. Then he did a master in IIT Bombay. Then he went to, I think, Rhode Island. Yeah, he went there. So he was telling me for the last 3-4 years he was into PhD. The term that he learned in PhD, the PhD. He was trying to incline his PhD thesis in a manner to suit the funding that he is getting from a company. ठीक है? So in that way, his PhD is also getting benefited. He knows he is going to be employed, and the company knows. I am funding a person who will be finally working in my company, and he knows the nitty-gritties of that entire thing. So that's how the entire model works out. Unluckily, in India, that thing is not existing to that extent. ठीक है, फंडिंग आपको यहाँ से मिलती है. ठीक है, कुछ फंडिंग होते हैं, ठीक है, बाकी जो आपको प्रोजेक्ट से इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज एश्योर्ड कि आप पीएचडी के बाद आपको जॉब मिलेगी ही मिलेगी. पर हाँ, बट ये एक बैकअप बन जाता है ना लोगों के पास कि 5 साल जैसी कुछ तो फंडिंग आ रही है मेरे पास, 35,000 40,000 समथिंग आई एम गेटिंग आउट ऑफ द कॉलेज टू कीप मी अफ्लोट इन द बिजनेस राइट नाउ इन द मार्केट. तो या PhD in India is basically to keep, for majority, correct me if I'm wrong, that PhD is like to get that period of keeping myself afloat rather than PhD in outside. It's like PhD doing it for passion. PhD के 5 साल है, बहुत लोगों को मैंने देखा कि लोग UPSC की तैयारी चालू कर देते हैं. तो देख, तो ऐसा ही चलता है अभी, UPSC की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, IAS बनने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं. That is hardcore fact. That has happened. That is happening.
How do you think IEEE can benefit people in research? What impact has IEEE had on your career till now? Your path, your career, your opportunities that IEEE gave you?
IEEE is actually basically, I understand that basically a kind of a bridge between the budding students and the persons who are at least in some sectors. So that actually I feel that IEEE is a very great job in introducing the fresh people out there who want to know where they will be in the upcoming 10 years. So by interacting or seeing or interacting with them, with those personalities out there in those domains or the ecosystems or those spaces, people will understand, okay, this is also an avenue where I can explore. This is also an avenue I can explore. Well, frankly speaking, IEEE, I was not much knowing about IEEE until last 3-4 years, because when I was in college in NIIT, frankly speaking, I was not aware of that thing. But yes, we used to do it at an informal level, like we used to go to some senior, but we had to always have a connection with them, like we have to approach them. Now IEEE is actually helping us that to connect the alumni also to the new people, and also to the and for the new people to connect with us, to get into the field of research wherever we are doing, and what kind of experience that lies in store, whether even if it's worth taking that risk to go into research or not. That call by hearing us people can take. That 10 years down the line, this is the kind of environment that it is going to be. Like from 2015 it's 2021. So last 6.5 years, at least I think I have seen some kind of a thing, I have witnessed, and that experience we can share with the new people from my domain or some other domain. So that will help them in understanding. So to get the regression, this is where the plot is going. Like when we had passed out, coding was not a big thing. But when I went to IIT Bombay at that point of time, coding was a big thing. And now you see, each and every time I'm seeing an IPL match, upgrade and all these things are coming. So coding has a big role to play, right?
The next question would be, so what are the necessary skills according to you that should be developed, to the juniors that are here, like since they are in college? So what should they focus on? What are the skills which will help them later on?
First thing, coding has to be. If any person right now is thinking that going to IIT will give me a great job, no, it will not give. Just in case, I am talking specifically for the meta students. Okay, Meta. Let me first tell about the meta structure. अच्छा, in NIT how many हमारा तो ओपन इलेक्ट्रिक भी नहीं होते यार कोडिंग के लिए एनआईटी में. आई डोंट नो 2015 में होते भी नहीं थे कोडिंग के लिए ओपन इलेक्ट्रिक. आपको पाइथन सीखना है. पीपल हैव टू नो मैटलैब. नॉट वन पीपल, नॉट वन स्ट्रीम. ईच एंड एवरी 8-9 स्ट्रीम हैज टू लर्न मैटलैब, टू लर्न पाइथन. इट इज अ मस्ट थिंग. दैट इज वन थिंग. सेकंड थिंग, नेटवर्किंग विद योर सीनियर. वो बहुत हेल्प करता है. लकीली IIT दुर्गापुर की अलमनी बहुत अच्छी है. IIT बॉम्बे की भी अलमनी थी, उससे भी तगड़ी है. थर्ड थिंग, कम्युनिकेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप कम्युनिकेट नहीं, आप कितने भी अच्छे स्टूडेंट बन जाओ, आप कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाएंगे तो the company person will not be able to take how much he wants it, because at the end of that he will employ you based on your communication skills. आप काम थोड़ा इधर उधर कम ज्यादा कर सकते हो, but communication skills is very important. Even in ISRO also, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ना मीटिंग्स होती है, वहाँ पे आपको जितने अच्छे से आप कम्युनिकेट कर पाते हो, जितने कॉन्फिडेंस से कम्युनिकेट कर पाते हो, आपके चांसेस है आपने जो प्रोडक्ट डेवलप किया है, आपने आइडिया पिच कर रहे हो. सेम है स्टार्टअप ऑल्सो. अब जितने अच्छे आप वो होते हैं ना, जैसे हमारे जीतू भैया कितना अच्छा कम्युनिकेट करते हैं. तो जितने सिंप्लीफाइड वे में यू कैन डू दैट, हिंदी हो इंग्लिश हो, 3 थिंग्स मुझे लगता है अभी चाहिए. Just 3 things. And also awareness की about you. आपको क्या करना है. एटलीस्ट 22 ईयर्स तक आपको पता हो जाना चाहिए कि यस, ये मेरी वीकनेस है, ये मेरी स्ट्रेंथ है, और इस स्ट्रेंथ के हिसाब से मेरी ये जॉब मेरी बनती है. एंड थोड़ा सा लक का भी साथ थोड़ा फाइट मारना पड़ेगा. कभी अगर दुख के बादल छाए ना, फाइट मारना पड़ेगा. एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि 6 महीना 1 साल अगर फाइट मारते रहना तो दुख के बादल छड़े जाएंगे.
So my next question would be like, does ISRO take summer interns or like short-term interns, like, or they only take people after completion of B.Tech?
Yes, they do take. So ISRO has different centers out there. Okay? So when people, suppose a mechanical student or a material science student or an electrical student, so they have to see themselves, okay, they have to choose first in which center they have to apply. So if a mechanical student applies to a center in Ahmedabad, which is a space application center, where most of the people are electronic students there, so it's of no use, people will not take it. So there is a cell called EPE, production planning and evaluation. Okay, and there's a recruitment cell in there, so they have to apply there. But ज़्यादा लोग आते नहीं हैं but rather there is a organization that is called IISC, Indian Institute of Space and Technology. I have seen people coming from there actually, who are doing a masters now there. From there people are coming and doing an internship out there. बहुत लोग आते हैं. Vikram Sarabhai Space Center is there, where I am working. This is Liquid Propulsion System Center. That's where I work. We look after the liquid propulsion and the engines that we are developing or on a regular basis. So वहाँ पे भी आप आ सकते हो. So not in the winter period, but generally in the summer period, people can approach. Yes, but yeah, I mean but the number of people, but they will take na. That is also based on the recommendation. Need to have a connection with some person. एम्प्लॉय काम कर रहा है, उसका कोई पर्सनल कनेक्शन है, तभी वो काम कर रहा है. नॉट मच पीपल वर्किंग आउट, बट अदर पीपल हु आर कमिंग फ्रॉम IISC, दे आर हैविंग गुड इंटर्नशिप पीरियड हियर at ISRO. They are basically from Department of Space, so they are making very easy. So hopefully in some time we'll see more centers opening out to taking out interns. I am not confident regarding whether Bangalore or Ahmedabad people are. I think they might also be taking, not sure, but yes, they take.
Okay, finally, one last question. What is your message for your juniors?
What I've experienced in IIT is sometimes how long you persevere, do hard work, it's not always relevant that you will get a proper outcome of that. Sheer amount of luck is there. But yes, people should not just think that because they have done so much of hard work and luck was not there, they should keep continuing that work. Because I'll share you one experience. When I passed from IIT Durgapur, I went to IIT Bombay. So I had a good seat, 9.45 I passed with, and केस में भी 46 रैंक आया था. So I was like, अब आया हूँ, अब फोड़ के जाऊँगा IIT Bombay में, ठीक है. तो वहाँ पे गया, तो वहाँ पे तो धांसू लोग थे. NIT राउरकेला, NIT जयपुर, IIT बॉम्बे से भी कुछ हमारे साथ रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहे थे. तो वहाँ पे ना फिर फाइनली क्या हुआ कि मेरे को वो होना I started losing out. यार यहाँ पे तो इतना मार्क्स आ रहे थे, यहाँ पे मार्क्स नहीं आ रहे. तो माय फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर इज जस्ट ओनली गॉट 9.26, जबकि 9.26 मेरे को कभी नहीं मिला है वहाँ पे. आफ्टर थर्ड सेमेस्टर ऑलवेज आई क्रॉस 9.6 ऑलवेज. तो फिर but yes, we have to stay on. मेहनत नहीं छोड़नी, because struggle that I did in that period now, from 2016 May to 2017 August, because my placement was not that good. So I've seen people who are my, I'll not say who have not that amount of PPI, they are getting placed in data skill and all those. They are getting placed in applied materials. ये होगा, ये हर बैच के साथ होगा कि प्लेसमेंट नहीं मिल रही है. सही, इतना मेहनत किया भैया, प्लेसमेंट नहीं मिली, क्या करूँ अभी. बट you have to keep on working. I think that is the only thing that is in your hand. Keep on working. If I don't know whether you people have seen pictures or not, that the startup thing that is there by TBF, that हाथ पैर मारोगे ना तो स्विच बोर्ड पे तो बल्ब जलेगी बहुत, एक ना एक तो बल्ब जल जाएगी. I always follow that. Sometimes it happens कि आपने 48 होता है कि बट वो चाहिए नहीं क्यों. एंड टाइम वो लोगों ने बदल दिया कि ओके माय रिक्वायरमेंट इज, आपको बहुत गुस्सा आता है. सिमिलरली व्हाट हैपेंस इज समटाइम आप जब इंटरव्यू पैनल के बाद जाते हो, आप सोचते हो कि यार पिछले साल तो 4 लोगों को ली थी, इस साल तो लेनी चाहिए 6 लोगों को लेनी चाहिए. टाटा स्टील लेगी यार, ये लेगी, इज द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ द कंपनी चेंज होती है. So getting adjusted to those environment, knowing all these things in mind, कि हर समय एक नहीं होता है, बट मेहनत करते जाना है. एंड कोडिंग स्किल सीखनी है, कम्युनिकेशन अच्छी बढ़ानी है, लोगों के साथ कनेक्शन अच्छे रखने हैं. दिस इज द ओनली मैसेज दैट आई कैन गिव. ये पक्का सूट देगी. लाइक मैं आज भी करता हूँ ये चीज, एंड मेरे से भी कभी होती है कि कभी से गुस्सा हुआ. बट इन अ प्रोफेशनल फील्ड यू कैन नॉट हैव एनिमीज. You cannot have कि अगर कोई आपका बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है, if he is somewhere placed, then contact. हो सकता है वो उससे अच्छा CPI नहीं रहा हो, आप कभी बड़ी अगर दुश्मनी रही हो उसकी, बट contact him will definitely help you. वो ईगो छोड़ने का और बस जो आपको चाहिए उसकी तरफ फोकस रहने का. बाकी थोड़ा सा तो लग चाहिए होता है. I think 2021 में NIT Durgapur is a very good college compared to what we had at that back of. अब तो इंटरनेट की वजह से अब तो आप जितने कोर्सेज करो, डेटा एनालिटिक्स के कोर्स करो, मशीन लर्निंग के कोर्स मिल जाएगी ना जॉब का. We don't need to always rely on TCS and all those. This is a good form, but sometimes we expect something better, right? क्योंकि at the end of the day ना ऐसा होता था कि IIT बॉम्बे में जब प्लेसमेंट्स होते थे ना, डे 1 पे टाटा स्टील रिजेक्ट किया, डे 2 में अप्लाइड मेटल्स ने रिजेक्ट किया, डे 3 में कोई और कंपनी रिजेक्ट किया, डे 4 में 2 कंपनी रिजेक्ट किया, डे 6 में 2 कंपनी. तो फिर आपका हौसले अपने आप उठ जाता है. तो वहाँ पे ना 15 दिन के साइकिल इतनी सारी कंपनी जाते हैं, ठीक है. तो आप जा रहे हो हर दिन, तो डे 5 के एंड में जब आप हॉस्टल में जाते हो चल के, कोच रहते हैं आपके कंधे पे और हाथ में रहता है एक बैग, आपके रिज्यूमे रखे हुए हैं, बट आपको लगता है कि आप लूजर हो पूरे लाइफ में. एक कंपनी आपसे बनती नहीं. सच में ऐसा हुआ है. मैं आई गॉट रिजेक्टेड इन आई थिंक 8 कंपनीज इन स्पैन ऑफ 4 days in IIT Bombay. But yeah, दैट एक्चुअली आपको वो इनर टफनेस आपको बढ़ाता है, क्योंकि आपको आफ्टर सम पॉइंट पे आपको लगता है कि यार इससे बुरा क्या ही होने वाला है, चलो ठीक अगले दिन फ्रेश एक कपड़ा पहन के चलो चलते हैं, थोड़ा हंसी के साथ, बस कीप ऑन स्माइलिंग, कीप ऑन वर्किंग, कीप ऑन द गुड वर्क फॉर द ह्यूमैनिटी, लोगों को हेल्प करो यार, एंड लाइक इट विल कम इन अनप्रेसिडेंटेड वेज टू हेल्प एज अ ब्लेसिंग. एंड समथिंग आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू दैट आप जब आप कॉलेज पास करते हो ना, तब आपको शायद कुछ और रहता है कि मैं ये करूंगा वो करूंगा, बट समटाइम लाइफ इज अ डिफरेंट गोल. फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग आई नेवर न्यू इसरो एग्जिस्ट, इसरो में मेटलर्जी एग्जिस्ट. मैं कहाँ से आया यहाँ मुझे खुद नहीं पता चला. वन इंटरेक्शन विद वन एलुमनी चेंज माय एंटायर कोर्स ऑफ लाइफ. तो ऐसे मुझे लगता है कि आप सब ने कभी ना कभी किसी के साथ कोई इंटरेक्शन होगी. यू नेवर नो, 5 साल बाद आपको लगेगा कि अरे यार इस बंदे ने मेरी लाइफ चेंज. यू माइट बी प्लेस्ड इन आवर Mercedes-Benz. That's a fantastic company. You never know, a Meta person may be placed in Mercedes-Benz. Rolls-Royce में IIT Bombay recruits people from Rolls-Royce, from Mechanical Engineering. तो हर साल नहीं आती है, बट मान लो कि कोई पर्टिकुलर ईयर में Rolls-Royce आई. People in Airbus are from Meta. One of my immediate junior is from Meta. From Meta is in Airbus. Opportunities है, limited है, but है.
This whole interaction was very insightful, interesting, and it was very inspirational as well. Personally, and as well for the viewers who will watch this. So on behalf of the entire IEEE student branch at IIT Durgapur, I would like to thank you for joining us and giving us your valuable time and sharing with us such insightful things with us.